The spring transfer portal is officially closed as of Friday, April 25th. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how well Georgia did in the portal. We're going to be breaking down the guys that left, where they are now, and more importantly, the guys who are coming to Georgia through the winter portal and now in the spring portal. A lot of new faces on the Georgia Bulldog roster. Kirby Smart has said many times that, hey, this is the most new guys, the most new faces that we've ever had in spring practice. So we're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down, and we're going to decide if Georgia got better with all the departures, all the additions, which ones hurt, and which additions are going to have a really, really big impact on the team this fall. So let's talk about quickly the guys who left, because that's a bigger group than the guys coming in. Actually, no, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the guys who are coming to Georgia. That's what y'all want to hear about. These are the guys that matter, okay? Of course, in early January, you had Zachariah Branch, his brother Zion Branch at safety. He'll provide depth there in the secondary, but Zachariah Branch is, he might be the biggest addition that Georgia landed through the portal. He is explosive, brings a lot of speed, was a five-star prospect at high school for a reason. He's one of the fastest prospects or players now in college football. He is going to provide depth, but speed, and not only depth. I think the guy's going to start. He should start day one. He's a guy that Gunnar Stockton can launch the ball down the field to, and he can help in the screen and short passing game. He can help in the return game. Now, his numbers weren't jaw-dropping at USC, but they have a chance to be big in this Georgia offense because they need a guy like him. They needed speed and explosiveness. Now that Adrien Smith is off to the NFL, we'll see if he gets drafted either today, Friday, or Saturday. But they needed speed. Zachariah Branch gives it to him. That's a major addition. Jaden Harris is a safety that came from Miami. I'm not sure he's a guy who's going to win one of the starting roles. I like him. I think he's okay. I think he's adequate. I think he's got some experience, which is nice, but they think that he can come in and provide depth and possibly earn a starting position. Adrien Maddox is the guy I like a little bit more. That's the kid who was really good out of UAB, a hard-hitting guy who runs really well. He's got good ball skills. Kirby talked about both of them, just saying, how they've got to learn the Georgia way. They've got to learn the standard, practice to the standard, and, get after it in practice. That's how they're going to see the field. But those are two guys who have made plays at the collegiate level already. So they're going to bring Georgia some depth at that safety spot. They both committed to Georgia, I think on the same day, January 7th, during that winter portal season. Noah Thomas, obviously, probably the second biggest portal addition, at least on offense. A guy with size, ball skills. He's got big playability. He has made a lot of plays already at the SEC level. He's coming from Texas A&M. Auburn knows how good this kid is, but he's a guy with size, strong hands. You could put him on the outside. He can make a tough catch in traffic, works the sideline well, so a really solid complementary wide receiver to Zachariah Branch. So Noah Thomas, that guy's going to play a lot. They brought him in for a reason. He's going to push for a starting job as well. They brought in Micah Bell at running back from Vanderbilt. He is the brother of Dylan Bell. Don't think we're going to see a whole lot from him, but a guy to know. On defense, Elo Medozi, that's the edge defender that they just got on Easter Sunday night, past Sunday night. Long, athletic, track and field guy. He's explosive and really shined on that Army defense. A kid from West Point, right? So he's a leader. He's a smart guy. He's mature. He understands his role. Georgia went after him hard in the portal. He took a visit. They laid out their entire plan for him, and they said, hey, we need pass rushers. We've got Gabe Harris. We've got Quintavious Johnson. We've got some young freshmen, but we need a guy who can come in and try to help us immediately and push for a starting job. Easy decision for him. So he's, again, a long, athletic kid with his best football still way ahead of him. And with Georgia's resources and that coaching staff, I think this is a guy who could turn into a really nice player this fall. Josh Horton was a defensive lineman they got from Miami. A kid they liked in high school. They didn't necessarily push hard for him. That's why he ended up at Miami during his recruitment instead of Georgia. But they said, you know what, let's bring this kid home. Again, not a guy that I think is probably going to start. He might play some and provide some depth, but he's not a guy that I think is going to light up the stat sheet and be one of the best defenders, right, on that defensive line. I think he's okay. I think he's fine. I think he's going to provide some depth. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be realistic. And then Josh McCrae, the running back, was the leading rusher for Illinois last season. ended the season on a really strong note, ran through a really strong South Carolina defense in that world famous Cheez-It Bowl, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. He can wear down a defense. He's a tackle breaking machine. He runs hard, lowers his shoulder, runs behind his pads, just bounces off defenders. I think runs pretty well. He's got decent speed for a guy 230 pounds, but he's a bowling ball. Short yardage situations around the goal line. He had 10 touchdowns for Illinois last fall. This is a guy that they brought in for a reason. They needed a reliable number 2 back with experience, and that's exactly what they got. He complements Nate Frazier really well. So he's a running back that I think is going to make a pretty early impact for Georgia's offense. So those are the guys they brought in. As far as guys who left, Julian Humphrey, he got benched for Daniel Harris. He quit on the team, said, I'm out of here. I'm not even finishing the season. I'm in the portal. So he's going to make his way to Texas A&M. We'll see how it works out. At the end of the day, just not good enough to earn a starting job and play at Georgia. He was a starter at one point, lost his job, and then just bailed on the team. So he's gone. Michael Jackson III was a wide receiver. They got through the portal, I guess, last year from USC. Didn't play, couldn't rise in the depth chart, so he had to leave basically if he wanted to play. He's over at Purdue now. Jamal Jarrett, the defensive lineman, going the Bear Alexander route, right? He was a big kid who had a lot of promise when Georgia signed him. Just wasn't working out. He didn't turn into the player they thought he could be. And he said, you know what, it's not working. I need a fresh start. So he's out at USC. We'll see if he stays there. But a guy who had a lot of potential, it just didn't work out. Justin Rhett is a safety who, again, just probably not good enough to earn a starting job at Georgia. He never did. I think he was pretty patient, but at the end of the day, if you're not playing, you got to leave. And he was there for 2 years, maybe 3. He's a guy the staff liked, but he just never turned into a guy that they could say, okay, we trust you to be a starter. He hit the portal. He's now at Nebraska. Troy Bowles, the kid they signed with C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson in that 2023 class, really, a solid 4-star kid who, brings a lean frame. He can cover. He can run. He knows the game. His dad was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It still might be. Todd Bowles, is he still with Tampa Bay? Maybe. But yeah, he's a football guy from a football family. Just didn't work out, and he wasn't better than C.J. Allen or Raylan Wilson, so he had to go. He's now at Michigan, so not good enough to play at Georgia. Maybe he's good enough to play at Michigan. We'll see. Good luck to him. Sam Mpemba, edge defender, looks like Tarzan, just muscles all over the place. Didn't really turn into a football player who could see the field and make an impact. We'll see if he continues to develop. He'll have to do that at Texas A&M. Just didn't work at Georgia. He wasn't as good as Damon Wilson, who I'm going to talk about in a second. He wasn't as good as Gabe Harris, who's still on the roster. So Sam Mpemba didn't do much of anything at Georgia. He's now at A&M. Jake Pope, doesn't matter. He did nothing at Georgia except piss off Kirby Smart after that Ole Miss game. So he was basically grabbed by the collar and thrown into the transfer portal. See you later. He's now at UNLV. Anthony Evans was a wide receiver who thought might find, his path in Georgia's offense as kind of a speedy slot gadget receiver who could help in the return game. Had some ball security issues when he did have an opportunity to have the football at Georgia. Just wasn't working, wasn't rising in the depth chart, and he knew that he basically had to leave. He's now at Mississippi State. Jaden Rashada, the quarterback, doesn't matter. Who cares, right? Who I don't even know where he's going to end up, but that guy did not play the college football game off the field very well. He and his dad just didn't do it correctly. So who knows where he ends up? Doesn't matter. Damon Wilson, that's a guy who did matter. That's a guy who did play and did make an impact, and I thought could have been one of the best players on Georgia's entire defense in 2025. I was very surprised he hit the portal. Had to be an NIL type of situation because he left a starting role at Georgia to go play at Missouri. So I don't know what the paycheck was. I don't know what the check was, right? It must have been pretty significant for him to leave what was a promising position at Georgia, right? He was going to be the starting outside linebacker and probably the best pass rusher on the team. And he leaves, and he goes to Missouri, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully it works out for him, but I thought that was a pretty big blow. And one of the only big blows on, of the departures that left, that's one of the only guys who I thought at the time, okay, that kind of hurts. That's surprising. he could have really made an impact for them next year. Branson Robinson had hit the portal at running back, just didn't work out. The injuries really held him back. I think he's a guy who just needed a fresh start. I don't know where he's going to end up. Nitro, Tugles, and Marquise Easley, two suspended Georgia players like Jake Pope, they were basically grabbed and thrown into the transfer portal, just shoved in there, and then the door was slammed behind them. No way those guys are coming back to play. The roads are safer in Athens. I hate to say that. I hate to really joke about it, but they are. Had to go. Should have been kicked off the team. They were. Couldn't come back. I think Nitro Tugles now at Purdue. Marquise Easley, I don't know where he's at. I don't know, but prayers to that community. Again, I'm not trying to joke about it, but being realistic at the same time. And then Chris Peele was a cornerback who just entered the portal a couple days ago. Just a guy who just couldn't climb the depth chart. Good player, but it's a crowded room now. They got a lot of talented cornerbacks who are playing well, hungry to see the field. And Chris Peele saw that it just wasn't working. He needs to play somewhere, and it wasn't going to be at Georgia this fall. So he entered the portal, not sure where he's going yet. So overall, they brought in a lot of good players who were going to help. And just about everyone, except for a couple guys who left, really weren't going to make an impact for the Dogs in 2025. I thought Georgia won the transfer portal, and we'll see a lot of these guys make plays for the Dogs this fall. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. You can read more about this over on Dawg Post. Make sure you're doing that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the website.